Hello and welcome to a pre-season edition of Talk of the Town, the second pre-season edition. We media team. I'm Egg. As always, I'm joined by my esteemed colleague Nathan. Nathan, you all right, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I mean, we've come to an end now. Pre-season wrapped up for another year, and it's strictly business from here on out. So yeah, looking forward to the season. Maybe not looking forward to some of the journeys, but definitely looking forward to the season starting.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like I've realised I've got a bit of fluff on my hat. Take that off. Try and act professional. Look professional if I'm not going to act it. Yeah, it does feel like pre-season has kind of flown by. There was a couple games called off. You've been pretty much to most of the preseason games. So, what's your thoughts? Kind of seeing the new guys, how we've played. Some people that
I
maybe
think
haven't got the games and stuff.
I think it's definitely a work in progress still, especially going forward. It's obviously not been helped. Unfortunately, Matt Wright, one of our signings, has picked up an injury, so we've not really been able to see him. He was impressive in the games he did play. But there's been, like any preseason, really, there's been good and bad moments. See, getting the win against Budley was great, and we played really well against Parkway. And we played well against Yeovil, I thought, as well. And Tivy was a tough one because it was just so hot. So like you're never going to get a completely great game. I think we've looked good defensively. Jacob Shaw's come in and looks like a really good profile of young player that we sort of player you want to have to see and develop, especially alongside Mike Landricum. And to be fair, Dorchester game, that was a really tricky game because they're a good team, and there's levels in terms of backing and things like that they have that it's just not a realistic option for us. And to be fair, we defended pretty well, and Josh Can playing centre back and things like that against a striker that has scored goals in the Southern Prem for the last 6-7 years. It was a really tough ask, and I thought we played pretty well. Just unfortunately couldn't really we didn't lay a glove on them really until about 10 minutes to go, but we held them out for a while and we just switched off twice, and that's when they scored. So there's been definitely some interesting tests, and it's good to see the new players. And I think, to be fair, a lot of the players have come back fitter than before. Not they didn't come back last time, but they definitely look good. And I think that midfield is stacked, and the defense, once everyone's returned from, I know Dave's on holiday and Mike's away as well. But once everyone's back, that's pretty stacked as well, to be fair, because and most positions are pretty filled up, and they're gonna have a tough process to pick those players, especially in that midfield. It's going to be tough to decide which 4 or 5 they're gonna put there. So that's a good problem to leave preseason with.
Yeah, I've been to a couple of the training sessions, filming content and doing some bits. The lads had a video analysis session on Wednesday before they trained. Dave went into a lot of detail. I'm not going to obviously say what was discussed. That's between Dave and the Hilly and the squad. But they are picking up a lot more finer details, and the lads are taking on board. You could see in the training session that they were picking up what was said, and there was a lot of questions as well, especially from some of the new guys wanting to know when certain things happen in a game, how they want Dave and Hilly want them to react and those things. So that was really positive. So they've stepped the game up again. I know last season they had an analysis session. I think they're going to become slightly more regularly. I did promise that I would also tell the world. Ollie and Joe did want me to tell the world that Dave does know far more about the VO system than I do. He knows how it works, and I couldn't fathom how to get clips up at one point in front of the entire squad. So if you need anything VO wise, Dave is your man. Just go see him. But no, I think the spirit in the squad when I've been around at training, everybody is really high. Everybody seems to be chomping at the bit. I know, talking to a lot of people, they're quite excited for the season as well, and the signs we've brought in look solid. I know Matt's obviously injured. That comes with part and parcel of the game. I'm really excited for the season. What I've seen so far, the games I've been at, been few and far between. We've looked we've looked good. It looks like we've not really taken a step back from last season. I think is that a fair comment to make?
Yeah,
Kind
I
of
think
personnel wise.
it's yeah, I think the squad's still pretty strong. Obviously, we've lost two of our main attackers in Jack Thorne, Tom Bath, so that's going to be a tricky thing you've got to adapt to. And I think at this level, especially with someone like Jack Thorne and that you can't necessarily outright replace that. You have to look for a new way to find a more creativity in attack now that he's gone. It's tricky to say that whether the squad will start as well as we did last year, but it's definitely in terms of, yeah, I think it's pretty strong. And to be fair, most of the team is the same, bar three players. So, and how many signs we made, 5 or 6,
Yeah.
but it's pretty strong. So it's been strengthened, and it's just a case of seeing how it goes once it comes to the actual games, because you can lose every single game preseason, then win. I know remember at Exeter City did it. I think we lost most games in preseason one year under Tisdale, and then ended up top of the league in September. So it's one of them. You can't read too much into any results or performances too much, but it's good to see how everyone is.
Yeah, Bowl Wanderers won all of our preseason games. We lost 2-0 to Stockport yesterday, so that does prove nice thing there. I don't know what he's doing. He's talking to someone behind him.
Sorry,
He's lost the plot. So I suppose that kind of moves us on to fixtures coming up. We start this weekend. We've got Swindon Super away. They've recently been relegated. Looking in the non-league paper yesterday, there was a preview of our league. Them and Winchester, along with Malzor, Melksham and Portishead were kind of tipped to be the teams around there. Bishop's Cleaver were also another one that they were talking about, which is good because there's no pressure on us, slipping under the radar as the old meme used to be on during the Western League days. What are your thoughts going into that Swindon game? I think it's going to be pretty tough. I take a point now as a supporter going into that game, to be honest.
I think so. Yes, it's going to be a tricky game. They've got Bobby Wilkinson in as manager. He's been around this level and above, to be honest, for a while now. So he's a pretty good manager, and you never know with the teams dropping down. I mean, that managerial signing alone is a statement of intent almost, if they want to go straight back up. But it's not always as easy as that. For every Yate there's a Didcot, and that's no offense to Didcot, but they're pretty settled to be at this level now. So we'll see. There's an unknown to me in the sense I don't know a whole lot about them, but we'll do the research and we'll see what they've got. And it's going to be a really tough game. And then we've got to play them again in about a month's time in the FA Trophy. So it's be a tough test. And obviously going to Swindon first day, not ideal travel wise, but it is what it is. I'm not sure on their ground. I don't know if it's a 4G pitch or a grass pitch. I don't know. I think, but we'll find out. If it's 4G, it's obviously going to be probably more of a challenge for us. But
I think it's grass.
If it's grass, that's all right then. So it's going to be an interesting game. Obviously, you're playing a settled team against a team that has come down and faced a bit of turbulence in that, because it's never easy. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I think, but I would take a point as well. I do agree.
And then on the Wednesday, we have Portishead at home. Another tough game. They've obviously just come up. I think they won the Western League. It was compared to Western League, but they won it pretty comfortably. It was between them and Clevedon for the title. Jack Thorne obviously will be making an appearance, we assume, for them. They are tipped to do wonderful things this year by everybody. So I think kind of getting them midweek, maybe after they played on the Saturday, we're home. We don't lose many at home. Probably a good time to play them. And then obviously we head into the FA Cup, where we've been confirmed we're playing Buckland. They beat St Blaise 2-1 this weekend. But that's also going to be a really tricky game as well, isn't it? They're going to be up for it.
Yeah.
Trying to pull off a bit of a, not giant killing, but I mean, like
a little upset. Yeah,
but team above.
But I think Buckland have quite a good record against us. I'm pretty sure someone was saying, we've got to beat them at some point. That I know they beat us in the FA Cup a few years ago. They'll be looking to repeat that again. But yeah, that's a tough game in terms of teams playing the Western League. Buckland will probably be pretty low on your list in the ones you want to play, because they're a good side and they're well backed. And so they're going to be really tough to beat. And so yeah, it's a tough one. Hopefully, I think we long for a cup run, but we'll see. That's a really tough first game. They're never easy, but I think this one in particular will be a challenge. But again, we're in the Southern League for a reason. We hopefully will be able to beat them.
Yeah, I would rather we played St Blaise, but if St Blaise had knocked off Buckland, then obviously that goes into that game where St Blaise are probably a force to be reckoned with. Anything can happen in the FA Cup. We saw Willand lost 2-0 to Barnstable
Mm.
on Saturday. Then obviously we have Melksham away, which is going to be another massive test. We pulled off a 3-3 draw there last season, I think, didn't we?
Yes.
Were we
Yeah.
down to 10 men? Those games were always against Melksham, always seem to be absolutely mental. That's the bank holiday weekend. And then we have Bristol Manor Farm at home on the Monday. So our start to the season is
Yeah. Probably
not
a good time
daunting.
to play Manor Farm, to be fair, because they've got a lot of new players. So playing them in August while it's still settling and they're trying to figure things out, that's going to be that's probably a good time to play them rather than like October, November when they're sort of on the roll now. Depending on obviously how the new players settle in, but it's better to play a new team because I think it's a pretty like they've obviously Bridgewater have got a lot of their players now. So they've had to really readjust, and it's been a tough summer for them. Obviously, the crazy stuff that happened in their ground as well. So I mean, August is probably actually a good time to play them.
Yeah, and obviously we're 3-0 down with 10 minutes to go to bring Cal on.
Yeah.
Then we have Swindon. Swindon in the FA Trophy. That's the beginning of September. That's as far as we'll go into the fixtures. That's also going to be another tough game, but it's a cup game, one hit.
And obviously, if we win against Buckland, we've got August 30th. We'll be in the FA Cup. That's another one, but that's if obviously, as we say, it's a tough one. So we'll see, but you never know. Little FA Cup run possibly.
Yeah, after last season's debacle.
Yeah.
I suppose. What's your thoughts heading into the season? I suppose while we've done the beginning of the fixtures, I think this season, I think going in kind of similar to last season, no expectations. I know expectations may be high because we made the playoffs last season, but we're not going to go down. And I think, with all due respect, I would love it if we were to win the league and were to be promoted, but I don't think. I think there's going to be teams with far more resources who have been able to recruit better. And that's not disrespect to David Hilly. Money talks, doesn't it? So what's your thoughts going into the season?
I probably slightly disagree in the sense of that I think there are expectations now. I think, this is our 4th year in this league. So the expectation, at least in my head, is, you want to finish in the top half. I'm with you in the sense of there's teams that have a lot more money and they're able to do more things and attract certain players that perhaps we couldn't get. But I do think there is sort of a minimum now that before there wasn't really a floor of if as long as we just stay up, it's okay. We that's all we know. Whereas we've now experienced what it's like to be at the top half of the league and to be in the playoffs as well. So I think a season of, it could be a season of consolidation, but it's a consolidation at a higher level than before. So it's about saying, look, we are here. We're one of the best teams in this league. And while we might not be quite ready just yet, we are still a team you don't want to play against and play. So I think that is for me, the expectation would be top half. If it drifts down to 11th, 12th, then, you don't know what circumstances the season's going to throw at you. Yeah. But my general squad fully fit, I think it's got to be top half.
I know talking to various other people around other clubs, local football, other media people just involved with other clubs, saying that lots of people now and players now do speak of us as quite an attractive destination for them to come play because they are looked after as players. They're obviously incredibly backed as well by the supporters who travel ridiculous distances, and they kind of feel like if they come here that Dave and Hilly will do right by them. They're not going to just get rid of them after a couple bad games. So I think that is credit to everybody at the club, and I'm sure that everybody already knows that. So I agree with you. I think that top half is obviously very achievable. If we can have another playoff push, that would be great. But I think what will be as always. This time last year we were just talking about if we could stay up, we'd be happy, and
relegation.
Look what happened. So yeah, there's still some absolutely cracking away days as well, which I'm really looking forward to. Hartpury University is the one I'm really looking forward to. There's a few long old trips into Cornwall midweek. Cheers, Southern League.
Yeah, nasty.
And there's still a lot of miles to do. Didcot, Swindon, whatever that Sporting Inkborough place is.
Yeah, Worcester.
Yeah,
which is great.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to fly by. as it did
Hmm.
last year. Memberships are still on sale as well. If you want to come and join us week in, week out, or jump on the bus, the prices and everything are the same as last season. We're going to pin the graphic to Twitter and the Facebook and everything, so that'll all be going out in the next few days, unless you've got it to hand, Nath, because I can never remember it.
There's it. I was just looking up because there's also the new family membership as well, for those who want to take people along. I annoyingly can't find it, but here we go. So all you need to know, perfect. So with the normal membership, support membership, that will be £20 a month. The gold one, and it's £16 a month for OAPs, and then the gold membership straight away is £35. They come with a variety of benefits. For just support membership, you get free entry into all the games, all the home games, including cup and friendly games, except the FA and FA Trophy. That would be just Devon Bowl. And it's the same with the gold membership. You get entry into the Devon Bowl games and obviously all the league games. And then you're in a monthly draw. You can get the programs. You get a little bit of discount on alcohol, I think, which I know will go down well. You get the coaches are slightly cheaper as well, I believe. And if I can find it, there is the family membership season tickets, which is a new addition to the cast this season. It's £50 a month, and it's for 2 adults and 2 under-16s. It's covering 4 people, and it falls into the same tier as support membership. So it's free entry into home pre-season and league games and the Devon Bowl, entry into a monthly draw as well, and then your online program and a membership card. So yeah, so if you are someone that goes with your whole family, you want to bring your kid along, and hopefully you've got 2 kids, and then you and a friend, you both bring your kid along, then that's a perfect membership. So you can guarantee yourself into every game, and it's £50 a month covering 4 people. So that's pretty good considering you're probably spending more than that if you're going regularly anyway.
Yeah, it probably cost you the equivalent of that to go and watch a team further up the league. I'm talking about like your Torquays, your Yeovils, or Exeter City to kind of go for that. So, and obviously we know the games are very family friendly. Obviously the club's very family friendly. I bring my little one along. She's chomping at the bit, I think, to get down again. So yeah, I think memberships are kind of the way to go if you're going to come week in, week out. The club can sort you out with the payments and everything if you drop us a message on the socials, and we'll put you in the right direction. Sponsorship as well, player sponsorship and all that sort of stuff is still on sale. Duncan's the person to go talk to regarding player sponsorship. There was a sponsors evening Thursday, last week. Thank you to everybody that came along to that. Thank you to all the sponsors and everybody's generosity towards the club, the players, and everybody. As we always say on this podcast, and obviously we can't do what we do without you guys. As we've just kind of talked about, we don't have a billionaire oligarch kind of behind the scenes pumping money in, so your money does make a difference. I think that's everything regarding sponsors, monies, memberships. Yes. Kits are still on sale. Me and Nath have mistakenly kind of done this, but this wasn't actually a thing. I'm going to get you
till I turned up in it.
I have got the little ones awake over there as well, which she hasn't worn yet. But yeah, they're still on sale. I'm assuming the club shop will be back again this year.
I think so, yeah. And obviously the MTC one is up and running. Yeah. Obviously you see this away kit. You want to come to an away game. I believe that we're going to be running coaches for most of the away games. Obviously there's some that are a distance that you don't need a coach for, i.e. Willand and Brixton and Tavy probably. But they're most of the ones I believe there is intentions to run it. That's what I've been told. So I feel pretty comfortable saying that. And then so starting off at Swindon Supermarine, that's the first one. We run the coach. It's again £20 or £15 if you remember. Please contact Duncan. We've got a post up on socials. You can always just message us if you can't find it. We'll put another one up this week as well, just to try and sell that coach out, because you get a chance to travel with the players and the staff and obviously the fans as well. So it's a pretty cool thing. I'm not sure how common it is in non-league. I think it's quite common, but it's still pretty cool regardless. And yeah, so get yourself on there and get yourself over to Swindon. If you can't make it, there will hopefully, depending on the signal over in Swindon, be live commentary of the game. We thank you for everyone that was there listening to the Dorchester one. I know pre-season is you're not going to get a whole load of people, and obviously I was sort of experimenting a bit with practicing for another role that I've got coming up. But that's going to be coming back this season. I think in terms of most games, Melksham, it will be there. Didcot, it won't, because one, the signal in Didcot is terrible, and I'm also not there. So that would be pretty easy. So I wouldn't be able to do it if I was there. I'm not going to do it because I'm not there.
So the signal had nothing to do with that.
Well, the signal does have something to do with it, because if I was there, there would still be no commentary. It'd still be the same thing.
This is the first time hearing about Nathan not being at Didcot, so now I'm going to have to get permission to go to Didcot away. So
you're going to have to go.
Didcot.
But yeah, but it will be back for the majority of the season. Obviously, we'll keep you updated if there's moments where I can't do it or can. But yeah, so thank you for those who joined against Dorchester, and I hope that we'll see you again at Swindon, whether that be in person or through ETFC Live on X or Twitter. More likely to be cool.
Yeah. And obviously there will be highlights and everything that you had last season. There's going to be a bit more behind the scenes footage and those sorts of things happening this season. If I've got time, obviously having a young family and working and kind of juggling like a bit like Nath, lots of other things. But I want to try and do more of that for the supporters. There's a thing coming out. I don't really know how to describe it. I strapped the GoPro to a Mr. Ben Steer for the warm-up on Wednesday's training session, and if this doesn't win me and Ben a BAFTA, I don't know what will. It's absolute cinematic gold. That'll be coming out some point this week or next week. I've got to kind of splice it all together with footage of him running around and stuff. So that's coming out. We're going to do some more of those sorts of things this year because they're quite fun. I'm going to do some more bits with players as well. They all seem to be as mental as always. And Dave and Hilly, obviously. So, yeah, that's kind of everything going towards the season. Don't think there's anything else we've missed, is there?
No, I think the best way to end it off, not with us, but with Dave Pearce thoughts following that Dorchester game, I think, because we've not any highlights for it. So I think it's best we'll put this interview in here as well so people can see what he had to say after a great pre-season and obviously a tough defeat there, but really tough test. And I think that's acknowledged as well. So I think we'll best to leave it in the hands of Dave Pearce to see us out for this one.
Yeah, we'll see you all again in the coming weeks. Take care. If you're going to Swindon, have a great day and up the town. And we shall hand over to the one and only Dave Pearce.
Dave, tough end to pre-season, a really tricky test against Dorchester. What are your thoughts following that?
Well, first, that's what we want. We want a test like that. We've had a few Step 3 teams, Tiverton, Parkway, and played Stoke City 23s and Yeovil as well. So it's been a tough pre-season, but we wanted to test the lads. We wanted to come against players who are that high level. Dorchester finished in the playoffs last year in the league above. So we want to test ourselves. Yeah, okay. Today we've got a few players missing: Knowlesy, Mike Landricum, Righty, Rowy's away as well. So we wanted to see what the rest of the squad was, how they react to that. So listen, they're a really good side. You can see that at home playing on 3G. Good players. But I thought defensive shape, we were excellent first half. I think it took half an hour for them to have their sort of real first chance on goal. They tired us out, and then they scored right on half time. But great response from us. We've changed shape. We've looked at different players, and I felt that we've done ourselves a bit of credit here. We've done well. So going into the season, we're ready. Fitness-wise, we look ready. Just a bit disappointed we didn't score at the end. We could have had a couple of goals at the end, really. And I think that's something we just got to work on, and hopefully the players will step up and do that in the season.
Yeah, these sort of games are a really good test, especially for those tough away games in this league where we're going to have to sit up and defend. And especially for a player like Jacob Shaw, for example, perhaps as it isn't quite used to that playing in the academy system. So a great test for them as well in terms of getting the shape and the out of possession right.
Yeah, Jacob's, he's done well pre-season, but today he's marking, Joe Parker up front, who's a renowned goal scorer at this level, and then Brett Pittman, who's an unbelievable professional career, coming on to mark him as well. So he's done well today. But as a whole, as defensive shape, I thought everyone was excellent. Josh Cairns played centre half. He hadn't done that since I've been here, so he looked good today. Sam Morecambe did well left back. Belston, we know we're going to get a right back, but everyone else put a shift in, and that's what it's all about. We feel ready for the season.
And Ryan Keats obviously signed on last week and has made a couple of appearances since. What can we expect from him to bring to the club?
He's got a bit of creativity about him. He's a very good technical player. He's probably the type of player we have in midfield. You know, high energy, good on the ball. He sort of fits that mould to join in with the others. But we wanted to have another option in there. If we play 4, we play 3. We've got another 2 or 3 on the bench to come on to, maybe raise the game again or change the game. So it's more about having a squad this year. You know, we'll have 16 to 18 players, and it's up to everyone to fight for their place.
And obviously backed by a decent amount of fans coming up to Dorchester, especially when football, competitive football is on elsewhere. It's great to see a big group of people come up for
I think that comes down to off the field, getting things going again. You know, I think the new chairman's come in, got a new committee, and people seem to be hungry to do stuff. And I think that's echoed around the town, and people want to be coming to watch the games again. So, you know, they want to travel here. They travelled to Columpton, they travelled, and hopefully, I can't remember who else we played away now. Budley, there's quite a few at Budley. So, you know, hopefully this season we'll have a good home crowd and away crowd. But no, fantastic sport.
And a bit of a teaser of a journey, because obviously it's a bit further next time Swindon Super League suddenly gets back underway. And what can we expect from that game? A newly relegated team.
Yeah, listen, they'll probably be, because they come down, they'll probably be, everyone will look at that and go, they'll be one of the favourites to go back up. We'll go there. No pressure on us. You know, we've got a target in our head where we want to finish, and it's going to be a long season. But, you know, you couldn't ask for a harder start. But, you know, we'll go there with a lot of confidence. You know, you can see that with the performances we've had against higher opposition. We'll have nothing to fear, but we'll go there with a game plan and try and come back with something.